This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to a special 5-part podcast series celebrating Compliance Week, which is sponsored by Convercent. If you haven't joined the Convercent Converge community, it is the most dynamic community in compliance. There are a ton of resources, commentary, Q&A, and other information which will help you, the compliance professional. So go to converge.convercent.com. I'm going to link to it in the show notes and join the Converge community. It's at no charge, and it's literally the top resource available to you in compliance. Over this 5-part podcast series, I'm going to visit with 5 Convercent folks about why they are so passionate about driving ethics to the heart of business. I know you will enjoy this series in honor of Compliance Week. My guests over this series are Philip Winterburn, Jennifer Jaffe, Stephanie Holmes, Autumn Sinelli, and Asha Palmer. I know you will enjoy them. Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox, back for another episode, and today I have with me Jennifer Jaffe. Jennifer is the Chief Product Officer at Convercent. Jennifer, first of all, welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time to visit with me today.
Thanks, Tom. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Jennifer, I was really intrigued and wanted to visit with you on this topic about why you're so passionate about compliance, because you're not a lawyer, you're not an internal auditor. You have a completely different professional background, but you bring some of the same passion that the other people I've interviewed, and indeed I bring, to compliance. So I wanted to maybe ask you, why are you so passionate about compliance and ethics?
Sure. I think that for me personally, my passion really kind of exists on 2 separate levels. There's a personal passion, and I can speak to that. And then I think there's a real professional intersection between product development and compliance. So if I pick at the first one first, just why personally I'm so motivated. I think that, as a product person, I am fundamentally motivated to solve thorny problems and to create better outcomes. That is kind of why we do what we do. But to be given the opportunity for the outcome of that work to literally result in protecting another human being's safety or furthering a more just society, that becomes sort of the most beautiful version of the work that I have trained to do. So on a personal level, I would say that drives my personal passion. Separately, I think that it's a very interesting and important intersection, product development and ethics. And specifically, just sort of that concept of ethical product development. Is that a thing? I believe it is a thing. I believe it is a responsibility that we have as product definers and designers and developers. We have a responsibility to take very direct action to create more ethical products, more ethical systems. What that means to me is, if I take a big step back, as humans, all of our actions are influenced by our ethical and moral orientation. Whether we're conscious of that or not, I believe that is true. And so if I juxtapose that with my role as a product developer, and I recognize that as a product developer, I have the ability to make something that could potentially could affect millions of lives globally, or no one, but my decisions have not just potential, but intended consequences for humans, other human beings. And in Convercent's case, perhaps the most vulnerable humans among us at their greatest time of vulnerability. So I believe that as product developers and personally, I need to continue to ask myself, do I commit to putting out products that are helpful or harmful? How is it that I consciously acknowledge and address my personal biases and hold my team, frankly, accountable to the same in the definition, design, and development process? How is it that we intentionally build trust and accountability and privacy and transparency of purpose and inclusion into the products and the systems and experiences that we deliver? And I guess the last thing on this for me is that at Convercent specifically, there's a bit of a funhouse mirror, because when we examine this issue, there's a ripple effect to the work that we do. We're building our products and services specifically so that our clients can do just that, intentionally build trust and accountability and inclusion and privacy into the systems and experiences they are delivering to their employees. And so that multiplies my personal ethical impact as a product developer, Convercent's ethical impact. And so this responsibility is always top of mind for me. I think ethical product development has always been a curiosity for me. It's been a lifelong aspiration, professional aspiration, but now more than ever, it's a mandate.
You also mentioned professionally the products that your team create, but that Convercent delivers for its customer base. How do you see your role, your passion around that step that perhaps you might be one step removed from, yet you're integrally a part of, which is the customer experience around driving ethics to the core of business?
I mean, fundamentally, for better or for worse at Convercent, the buck stops with me in terms of the product that we design, deliver, and that ultimately is in the hands of not just our clients, but their employees. And so while I'm definitely one step removed from the folks that are writing the code, designing the UX, delivering the product, keeping the software alive and running and available to our users, it's my signature on the bottom line as to whether or not that product meets its intended goal. Its intended goal being to create protection, to create an opportunity for folks to speak up, to create an opportunity for safety within the workplace, among others. And so I think that I don't see a split between I guess I don't see the degrees of separation between myself and ultimately the experience that our clients are delivering. If our product doesn't uphold its promise, then that's my responsibility as much as anyone, more than anyone at Convercent.
Jennifer, this has been, for me, an extraordinarily powerful podcast with you. I rarely get to speak with a chief product officer or a product developer about their passion around compliance. So I wanted to thank you for taking the time to visit with me, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Hope you've enjoyed this episode in Convercent's 5-part tribute to Corporate Compliance and Ethics Week. Please check out the Converge community. I've linked to it in the show notes. It is literally the best single resource for the compliance practitioner. Best of all, it's available to you at no charge. This is Tom Fox. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast series. This 5-part production has been a special production of the Compliance Podcast Network and Converge.